Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nonstop Steph, and today I want to give you guys my thoughts on what the Celtics should be doing with Jaylen Brown. Obviously, this is coming off the backdrop of this series that they just had against the Heat, and basically ever since then, I've been seeing a whole lot of conversations about how this summer they need to trade Jaylen Brown and just a whole lot of nonsense. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys right from the jump, like that is just wrong. That is not the plan here. If you are a part of the Celtics fan base, you should not be wanting them to trade Jaylen Brown. And we're going to basically start from the goal. The goal right now, if you are the Celtics fan base, is to win a finals. And basically, if you think about any team who has recently traded any of their stars, they have never been in a more competitive mode afterwards. And so throughout this video, I'm just going to post a couple of them. I've got a few that I'll just name off the top of my head, such as, let's start with Oklahoma City with trading Paul George, who became the better contender. The Clippers did. Think about the Nets just now trading Kevin Durant, who became the better contender. Right from the jump, it's the Suns, not the Nets. No team ever trades their star, or even if they're not the star, because obviously Jason Tatum is the number one. We know he's the number one option. No one trades one of their best players and becomes more competitive at that moment. You don't want to waste Jason Tatum's prime. You don't want to go into a rebuild mode. Look at what the Spurs did with Kawhi Leonard. They traded Kawhi Leonard and they got back what you would consider to be good players, DeMar DeRozan and etc. They immediately went into rebuild mode, and now they're just now finally getting into a position to be competitive again. Hopefully after they get Victor. But anyways, point is there is no real teams who trade their better players and get better. Yeah, there's no example of that. The Rockets, when they got traded James Harden, not more competitive. Point being is that no matter where you look, whenever these guys trade some of their best players, they aren't more competitive from the jump. That just doesn't happen. So, like I said, starting with the goal, since the goal, if you're the Celtics, is to win a finals and not going to rebuild, you keep him. That's just point blank, period. That's the goal. You cannot try to lose him. All right. Then after that, you think about this contract. That's what people are concerned about. They don't want him to get this contract that he's eligible for. Up to 300 million. It's like 295, but let's just call it 300. And again, if you're the Celtics fan base, you do that any day of the week. Any day of the week, you would want to do that to keep them together, if you ask me. People have this issue with this contract because they don't think that he's worth it. They don't look at Jaylen Brown and see him as a $300 million contract guy, right? I don't care. You pay him what he's worth at the time that he's worth that. He is eligible for it for good reason. He is a top, whatever you want to call it, top 25 player in the league. He is coming off all NBA considerations. I mean, this is not a guy who's a scrub in the league. You don't break him apart from this. You keep him going and let him continue to develop. Really, what the pressure needs to be on, if you're the Celtics fan base, is not on whether or not they keep him or not. The pressure needs to be on Brad Stevens and whoever they decide to keep at the coach. If it's Joe Mazzulla, great. If it's not, whatever. Point being is there are players who are out there who you can build on your roster, as we see with the Heat. These guys were undrafted. Heck, one of them were on the Celtics, Max Strus. I mean, these are guys who were, not considered desirable pieces and they were bargains at the time when Miami picked them up. Caleb Martin is playing lights out, and these are guys who have been developed by the Heat's organization, who are found and, like I said, not considered to be desirable by other teams, and yet here they are playing significant roles, and they're not demanding the largest salary on the Heat roster. So if you are Brad Stevens, which I think that he has a good track record of identifying talent, but the point is, you need to be in your bag finding talent. You're going to go ahead and pay him what he's worth. And in the next couple of years, you're going to pay Jason Tatum what he's worth. And you need to figure out how you're going to keep a competitive team around those guys. This won't be the first team that has max level players and a bunch of minimum guys on it. trying to win. If you go back to the Heat back in 2012, they didn't have the best, team around LeBron, Bosh, and D Wade. Obviously, they took a little bit less money, but primarily so that they three can be together. There were some minimum players on there, and they still won a championship. That is the recipe. That is the goal if you are in the Celtics fan base right now, is to find and identify that kind of talent and develop them. Think about what the Golden State Warriors did with their team. They found in college, they drafted Stephen Curry, they drafted Klay Thompson, they drafted Draymond Green. These are guys who were developed there. They've done good with plenty of the people they've picked up. Robert Williams. The only concern there is going to be, of course, health. You're looking at Al Horford right now. He's getting old. You need to have another big man ready to back up Robert Williams and, give some true rotation minutes, if anything, even another one after that in case he does, run into another injury this upcoming year. Point being is that you need to be looking other places rather than thinking, oh, we can get better if we got rid of Jaylen Brown, because that's just not true. The other things that you want to think about is going to be the age, obviously. So people, want to see the Celtics win a championship right now because they've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals several years already into their young careers. I mean, and that's a good reason to think about it. I don't want to be, I'm not the first one to bring this up, but LeBron and, guys like Jordan and all that, they didn't win their first championship at the age of 25 like Jason Tatum. And that's not something that I want to take lightly. Like, yes, Jaylen Brown is 26 maybe at the time of this recording. That's still very young. That's not someone who's hit their prime. You give him this contract and you still let him keep on going. We're watching guys like Jimmy Butler, who's in his 30s. We're watching Stephen Curry, who's in his 30s. And these guys are playing amazing. You don't want to be that guy or that team that traded away, like I said, a top 25 talent away. And for what? Like I said, no team trades these great players and gets better. You have $1 piece. You're not going to get 4 quarters for him. That just has not happened. You go into rebuild mode if you trade him. So if I were you guys, don't even consider it. That's all that really needs to be said. With all that being said, actually, I think that's it. I think that gets enough off my chest. So like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Peace.